CTV News at 6 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. Thanks for being here. Premier Christy Clark was back in the legislature today, apologizing again, this time in the House, and under more fire in the ethnic vote scandal that threatens her government. Now, a member of her cabinet is out. John Yap resigned today as Advanced Education and Multiculturalism Minister. He says he takes responsibility but insists he never saw the document at the center of the scandal. It's the plan that laid out a way to use government resources to lure ethnic votes in the provincial election in May. Our legislature reporter Stephen Andrews here with more. Stephen.
Hudson, Premier Clark has been out of the legislature since this scandal broke last Wednesday. Yesterday, she called an emergency cabinet meeting as some Liberals called for her resignation. Now, cabinet emerged from that meeting united, but today Clark faced her caucus. MLA said very little as they walked into the extended meeting, but they weren't happy. And when the meeting ended, the Premier walked straight into the House and announced that Multiculturalism Minister John Yap is stepping away as an investigation continues looking into the leaked document. Now, Yap says that he is the minister responsible, but he's had a hard time explaining why he resigned and when he first learned of the plan to gain ethnic votes.
As you would have seen last Wednesday during question period, was caught completely off guard by this document. This document never hit my desk, and some of the ideas in there and some of the language used is clearly unacceptable.
John, who wrote it?
I don't know who wrote it.
Whose idea was it?
Well, let's allow Mr. Dybel and his colleagues who are doing the investigation to complete the review and to report out.
Senior Minister Ralph Sultan now takes over Yap's duties. Cabinet ministers and MLAs are displaying a united front on this, saying they are a team, and they're also waiting for the results of the investigation. But they publicly acknowledge the scandal isn't helping their chances for re-election. It's why the Premier is in full damage control.
Now that I am here personally, offer a very sincere apology for the fact that that document was created by staff on the government side of the House. I want to apologize for the ideas in it, and I want to apologize for the language in it as well.
Liberal MLAs have been criticizing the Premier for being absent from the House since the scandal broke last week, leaving Deputy Premier Rich Coleman to deal with the issue. Now, Clark says she was wrong on that end and should have returned immediately.
Without prompting, I offered my sincere regret to the cabinet, the caucus, that I wasn't here on Thursday. I should have been. So, I as you know, I'm often not here on Mondays for question period, and that's absolutely why I'm here today, because I want to make sure I'm here to take the questions, the difficult questions, and to be held accountable for what happened. So,
does that mean you're willing to resign if this report comes back and says that it's your office that was responsible?
Well, let's see what the report says. I think.
Keep saying I'm going to be accountable, and I'm just trying to make sure I understand what you mean by that.
Well, when the report comes out and we see what it recommends and what it tells us, I will take action, and then you'll see what that means.
Now, Hudson, that's not a firm statement that she will not resign, but she's not saying she's going to stay on as well. And it's becoming increasingly difficult for the Premier to distance herself from that plan. More documents leaked today showing several people within the Premier's office were meeting about the ethnic vote plan. And there's still some questions on whether any government money was used to pay for any part of it. And Hudson, there's a general impression at the legislature among the opposition and amongst reporters that we haven't seen the last of the resignations.
I'm guessing we haven't, Stephen. They're putting on a unified front publicly behind closed doors. I think the knives are out. But what do the Liberals do if there's a move to push Christy Clark out with 2 months or so to go before the election? Who would step in?
Well, I mean, that's the big question. They asked George Abbott if he would be willing to lead, and he said, first of all, he would have to take a walk, and he would take that walk across the inner harbor. And if he managed to actually walk across water, then he would consider staying on in politics. It's going to be very difficult, but it's not just caucus and cabinet that can push her out. It's going to require the provincial executive to do that as well. Or if this scandal gets even worse and that investigation comes back from the head of the public service that implicates her office, then she is going to have to make a decision. If she can't distance herself from it, then she may have to decide she's got to go.
All right. Stephen Andrew, thank you.
You're welcome.